So once confirm me whether I'm audible or not. Good evening. Yep, perfect. So we will be today, we will be working on means like data analytic pipeline. So first let's develop a small pipeline and then let me just show you what exactly the kind of work we are trying to do. Let's use Excel. Yeah. So whenever we are going into any of our uh, data analytic project pipelines, so we need to look at three different elements, or we can say it as four different elements. So now this class is nothing to deal with how to create Power BI reports and all that. Just I want to show you how to set a pipeline. There is nothing to deal with how to learn SQL. So all this stuff just it going to be just like four different concepts which we'll be working on. Just a minute. Yeah, I gave you unmute access. In case if you want, you can just unmute and you can ask me. Now, the very first element. So Jahnavi, if you want, yeah, means like this. There is a concept of Python here, but only core Python, right, for April. So this is means like Pandas, or we can say mostly library based Python. If you want, you can just listen. In case no, after Python class also, I'll be covering it. Okay. Now, when we are going into our pipeline, so first we need to have a data warehouse. So the purpose of data warehouse is to store all the data at a central repository. So mostly we need to have a data warehouse. All right. So that is our first major area. And after data warehouse, from the data warehouse, we want to pull the data inside Power BI, or we can say, I'm then saying a Power BI, I'm calling it as a BI tool. So now in a job, so based on the client we are working with, the kind of tool we are working varies. That's the reason I'm just giving it as BI tool. So we will be collecting the data from a warehouse to a BI tool. And from a BI tool, we want to deploy it. So what do you mean by deploy? So now whatever the report you have it, for example, take this report, a simple report. So it is there within your Power BI where others cannot see. Only if I join in a Zoom meeting or if I share you, you're able to see that through a PDF or something like that. But so people cannot go back and they cannot see it like automatically for that reason. So we want to deploy it. So now another area is we want to uh, deploy. So this is called as deployment tools. So I can call it as deployment tools. Now this is another one which we will be, we want to use it. And before even we are storing the data into data warehouse or means we need to work on a plan or a strategy to store the data inside a data warehouse. How someone can go back and store the data inside a data warehouse. There are ways of storing the data. One way is like what most of the people do in their day-to-day job profile is they try to use Python. So now these are the structures we can use. So directly I'm importing the data into Python, and from the Python, I'm trying to perform. So in the Python, I'm doing data cleaning. And after doing data cleaning, so now I'm trying to store the data directly from Python to your data warehouse. So now without any intervention, what we are doing, so we are collecting the data inside Python, we are performing data cleaning, and directly we are storing the data inside data warehouse. That is one way we are able to do that in a real time. So another way also we can do it. What we are doing is we have Python, we are doing data cleaning, and from data cleaning, we are storing the data inside a cloud platform. So we are calling it as what? Data lake. So now I'm taking, after data cleaning, I'm storing the data inside a data lake like S3 bucket, which is AWS S3 bucket. You can just go back and you can dump it inside S3 bucket. And from S3 bucket, you are able to build a connection between AWS and data warehouse, and automatically you are able to pull the data into data warehouse. So any of the way, or no, Kant, So like I don't want to perform data cleaning in Python. What exactly you can do is another way. So the process can be completely rewritten in another structure. What is that? So now directly we are taking and storing the data inside. So I'm writing it as another plan. So I'm going and directly I'm dumping the data inside AWS S3, which acts like a data lake. So now every data we are getting, we are dumping it into a data lake, and we are trying to clean the data within AWS. We can clean the data within AWS. So using glue, we call it as glue. So glue is called, right, in order to run any Python code, instead of running in your system, you can run Python code inside AWS glue, and then you are able to dump the data into your data warehouse. After cleaning the data using AWS glue, then what you're doing, you're taking this data and you can dump it into data warehouse. So you can use any of the way. So now I'm giving it as one is way one. So this is way one, and this is way two. So while I'm designing any of the plan, we can do it. But in order to go with way one and way two, what is the difference is this cleaning, mostly you do it with Pandas. Mostly this cleaning can be done with Pandas. And this cleaning, mostly when you are using glue, you will be doing it with the help of PySpark. And how someone going to decide between PySpark and Pandas is, so now if you are going with Kant, I'm having a very huge amount of data, means like I'm dealing with petabytes of data, then probably you may not be using way one. You'll be going with way two. So if you're dealing with petabytes of data, you go with way two. You upload the data into S3, you clean the data inside your PySpark, and then you take your data and you dump it. So like inside your data warehouse. So this would be the plan. Now, we are assuming most common data analytic based approach. So which going to be what? Way one. So now way one is mostly a data analyst do in their day-to-day job. So like even internally in our most of our client projects, so like healthcare clients or marketing clients, so or even a banking clients, so or agriculture clients, most of the pipeline we follow is this one. So we go with way one, data warehouse, BI tools, and deployment. So now this entire plan is not done by a data analyst or a data scientist. So like they may not be doing it as freshers, mostly like people who are new, like 1 or 2 year experience, they may not do this kind of design. So this design is done by seniors, or we can say managers who are at an architect level. They are able to do this kind of pipelines. So like if you say like me as a manager, we work on the pipeline or the architecture. So like before even we are approving or before even we are kicking starting with a project, we get an approvals. So we build architectural diagrams. So once we got approvals from the architectural diagrams, everything, once clients, everything is ready. So we go with even more detailed architectural diagrams. Once all these diagrams are finalized, then, so like based on the work, for example, if I have like here, I got 5 people, for each guy, I will be allocating one work. Hey man, go back and build. So like each day, one day, or for example, maybe like 1 week, we will be working on only Python, collecting the data, performing data cleaning. Another week, we will be working on, so pushing the data from Pandas through S3 bucket. And then another week, we'll be working on data warehousing. Or so based on the urgency, so in a week, we will be doing this two stuff. 1 week, we work on reporting. 1 week, we will be working on deployment. So in this way, like depends upon the project, we plan the overall project. So we are calling it as mostly your Scrum planning. So we try to break down a project into various subtasks, or we call it as a project backlogs, and we try to close them. So we call them as sprints. So now a sprint duration, sprint is called what? So like whatever the overall project is, to create an end-to-end pipeline is an overall project. So in order to create the overall project, you are dividing that into various subtasks. So now each sprint going to have a minimal duration of 2 weeks. You can have even a 1 week of sprint, that's okay. But based on the methodology, people say if you're having it within 2 weeks, you need to complete one particular activity. Now this is what, like in a big companies, we follow. And again, for any project, you will be having data people, you will be having product owners, so who are responsible for gathering the requirements from client and converting them into a diagram, so that the entire information is available. So we are not just listening and we are not skipping any of the words, everything is recorded. So for every project, you will be having architects, they're going to be product owners, they're going to be business analyst, and data analyst or business analytic people are different. So like in this way, the combinational people going to be there. So rarely people who are having 1 or 2 year experience, they sit in a client call or this kind of discussion calls, rarely 1 or 2 year experienced people going to sit. So the reason why they may not sit into the meetings is like most of the time the managers going to allocate the work to them and they try to do that. So most of the meetings are handled by the managers. In the very rare means like if a company is very small, if the team size is very small, they make the means like team to sit in this kind of meeting. So the very initial thing, so we plan a pipeline. Based on the pipeline, we start designing it. Now, let me start going with the flow. So now here I need to have 4 things. So I'm not using anything like S3 buckets and all that. So we are cleaning the data in Python and we are dumping that into a data warehouse. Here I'm using a data warehouse, which we call it as Snowflake. So here you have 2 different operations. So now most of the companies going to have 2 different data warehouses. One, it can be your SQL. So, or you can say it as, it can be your MySQL or SQL Microsoft Server or anything. So now most of the time SQL going to be used for write operations. What do you mean by write operation is? So now you are, if any business happening or if any customer is buying a product, that is called transaction. Every transaction happening in a business, we want to write it without any latency. So the goal of read. So now the goal of Snowflake is not to write the data, but to read it. So for the sake of analytics. So now what we do once all the write operations are done, for example, our business is open from morning 9 a.m. until evening 10 p.m. For example, our business is open. So after 10 p.m., we will be start doing read operation. So what are all the data we stored in SQL? We are trying to migrate it into your Snowflake. So now, so that your all the data going to be stored inside your Snowflake. So that a data analyst or business analyst or a data analytic person or a data engineer can start analyzing that particular data. So now Snowflake can be called as your read, or we can say it as mostly a OLAP device. It's a OLAP and SQL mostly as a OLTP. And here in our demonstration for a pipeline, I'm using Python and I'm using Snowflake as a data warehouse. And then I'm using a BI tool, which is Power BI. And from Power BI, what exactly we are doing is we are developing a small visualization, a small dashboard here. As I said, our goal is not about creating wonderful dashboards and all that, just like to create a pipeline. And after creating a dashboard inside Power BI, we are deploying it into Microsoft Fabric. And inside Microsoft Fabric, we will be trying to schedule automatic refresh. So now the data going to be refreshed automatically. So this is the 4 steps which I want to do. For the very first step, now I will be just showcasing you the available things. Now one, I have my this is my Snowflake environment. So already March batch people you are aware of what exactly Snowflake and all that stuff is. Now this is our Snowflake environment. So now you know within Snowflake you have 3 different structures. So we call this as what database. And under database you have schemas, and under schemas you have tables. So now what exactly we are doing is I want to work on this kind of marketing data. But before I'm going with the marketing data, I just want to show you a small thing. Now I want to build a connection between Snowflake with Python. So this is my Snowflake account and this is my Python. Now, if you look into it, now this is a very important library which we need to use it. So now in order to perform this operations, we want Snowflake connector. So we want to install Snowflake connector. I will be giving you that library. So now you need to install Snowflake connector. So by installing that Snowflake connector, which we call pip install Snowflake connector, by using that connector, you are able to connect your Python with Snowflake. So in order to connect your Python with Snowflake, so now you need to use the command snowflake.connector.connect. So you need to provide your username. So now the moment you are signing into your account, whatever the user ID you provided. So for example, if I go to, this is your Snowflake. For example, if I go back to my Snowflake, activate your Snowflake account. So this is the link. If I just click on the link, here I'm able to provide my user ID and my password. So now whatever the user ID and password I have to sign into the Snowflake account, if I click on sign in, the same things I'm providing it here. So I'm giving my user ID and I'm giving my password. And I want to give my account URL. So how you are able to find an account URL is if you go back to your Snowflake, if I just click on this particular icon, so KR, and if you go back to your account, again, if you hover here, you're able to see this copy account URL. You can copy this You can paste it temporarily here. So now I can just temporarily paste it here. Now inside this account URL, I should not include HTTPS double slash, and even I don't want to include this AWS Snowflake computing.com. So only I want this particular ID. So this part only I want to take it. That going to be my account URL. That's what I'm trying to give it in my Python. I provide account URL. And what is the warehouse you are trying to use? So I'm trying to use a warehouse called as compute WH. Again, if I go back, so here you are able to see the warehouse, which is compute WH warehouse. I'm using it. In case based on your role, there is some other warehouse, you can give that warehouse name. So now under that warehouse, again, you are providing your database. What is the database you want to access? So if I go back to my Snowflake, I have various databases here. So if you see, I got BPEC database, BPEC store database, BPEC store, BPEC underscore score database, e-commerce DB, Snowflake DB. So there are various types of databases. So now I don't want to go back, and I want to, means whichever the database you want to connect it, I'm doing. Now, what is the first step I'm doing is, so like I just want to show you how we can clean the data in Python and how we can store that inside your Snowflake. So the once your data is getting stored inside Snowflake, from there, the next process is, so once your data is in a warehouse, you connect to your Power BI, you report it. So now this connect, the purpose of Python and Snowflake is what? Now Snowflake stores only a structured data. You may not be able to get all the structured data inside your, means unstructured data, you cannot store it inside Snowflake. For that reason, you are pulling the data into Python, you are cleaning it. That's what the operation we are doing. Now, I want to connect to my database BPEC store, and I want to connect to the schema. What is the schema? Superstore. So now if I go back to my database BPEC store, under that, you have three different schema: information schema, public schema, support schema. So now inside Superstore schema, I want to create a table, or I want to, so like pull the data. I can pull the data, or I can just connect, I can store a data as well inside this particular Superstore schema. So now I'm going to my Superstore schema. Now, what exactly this command is doing? Can anyone guess what this command is doing? People who know Python, what this command is doing?
Creating a data frame.
So I'm just creating a data frame. The major purpose of creating a data frame is, now you can, most of the time your data type going to be in a data frame format. Now what you are doing is, now you can perform either, here I'm just going with storing. You can read the data, you can clean it, you can do whatever the operations you want to do it. Now here, but there is a limit. So there is one major challenge is, now, whatever the data you are trying to pull it inside your Pandas, if you are having 30 columns, you want to create that 30 columns and their data types in your Snowflake. Now, what about this command and this command are doing? Now, what exactly the goal is? You are importing the data into Python and you are performing. If you want, here I just made Pandas command. If you want, you can perform various data cleaning steps. After performing data cleaning steps, whatever the data you have it, you want to store it inside this table. Now, what are all the columns you have? Column 1 you have, column 2 you have. The name itself, column 1, column 2. And column 1 is having a data type integer and column 2 is having a data type string data. Now the data types need to match and your column names need to match, so that whatever the data you have it inside your Python, you are able to push the data inside your Snowflake. That's what we are doing. Now this command is, you're creating a data frame. So now you can do any sort of cleaning. You can use replace commands, you can use drop duplicate commands, you can use, you can analyze the data with pivot tables, whatever you want, you can just do it. So same like your regular Python. Once you got a final data, what you're doing, you want to write it back into your SQL. So in order to write it back into SQL, what you're doing, you are creating a table. So now whatever the table you created, now see, once the connection is made, for example, if you made a connection, I made a connection. Now I want to create a table. I'm just calling, so like test table 2. If I execute this piece of code, it said true. Now, if I go back to my Snowflake, if I just refresh, if I go to tables, you're able to see test table 2.
Yes.
Right, we are able to control our, so with the help of this connection, what we are doing, we are able to control this particular data with this. Now again, let's go back to my Snowflake, and here I want to create a new worksheet, this one. For example, in order to use
Kant,
BPEC store. Yep.
sorry to disturb you. I have one query.
Can you just go back to that Python notebook?
1 second, Tulsi.
Yeah.
So like I'm using the database BPEC store and I'm using schema superstore within that notebook. And I want to go back and I want to use a table. So select star from test underscore table. And if I run it, so like it is saying like query produce no results. Why? You have column 1 and column 2, but there is no data inside. Now I want to push the data. So from my Python into this. So before doing that, yeah. Now you can ask me what is the doubt?
Yeah. In the second block, that is where we are creating the data. We are creating a dictionary like
Mhm.
column one. So ideally, see, now it is an example. So we are just creating a dictionary, and from there we are creating the data frame, right?
Right.
So in the ideal case, what from where can we pull this data to create this data frame in
Mostly
order
in a
to?
real time, you don't create this kind of data frames and all that, right? You try to use it read underscore CSV or read underscore
Yes,
Excel. So,
yeah.
or read underscore, so various read underscore stuff we have it, right? So your data can be at any platform. For example, go back to Pandas
Hmm.
dot. If I just hit on, you have various read underscore commands. So your data can be in Excel, your data can be in CSV, your data can be in HDF, your data can be your JSON data or Parquet data, which is a columnar data.
Correct,
So like
correct.
your data can be in SAS, SPSS. So it can be there in your SQL. So from SQL, you're getting it here, you're cleaning it, whatever it is. So or your data is in Stata. Anywhere you can read the data, or you can if the data is somewhere in the servers, or maybe like your data is somewhere in a IoT device, maybe like we call it as BLDC devices.
Mhm.
So where exactly your means like your remote cars or something. So like if I want to create that, or drones or automated robots, if I want to do it, we have that BLDC devices. From there, I want to pull the data. I can still build connections. So now once what exactly we are doing from any of the sources, we are pulling the data into Python,
Mhm.
and then we are doing cleaning. To do cleaning, obviously we use Pandas. So
Correct,
end goal is what? We are getting the data in a data frame, so we doesn't care about this one. So now once your data is in data frame, you can perform any of these below operations.
correct.
Got
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Kant.
Yeah. In case the same example, if I go back to this example, now whatever the data you are dealing with, it is not like hey Kant, it's not like 1 or 2 rows. So it's a very huge amount of data. So now I cannot directly dump the data into Python. It's going to hang. Now why? So when you're taking that petabytes of data and if you're pulling it on your system, it's going to hang. So instead of that, what you do, all that petabytes of data, you pull it into S3 buckets. From there, you create another pipeline. So this is more data engineering pipeline. So whether to go with way one or way two, we design it based on the amount of data we have it. Okay, so now mostly whenever we are designing an architecture level diagram, so when we are designing an architecture level diagram, if you are a fresher, you can say you are not a part of architecture diagram, and you never do that architecture, practically speaking. If you have minimum to minimum 6 to 7 years, yes, you can create architectural level diagrams, but as a freshers, no one going to give a chance for us to create an architecture. And people who design an architecture, for sure they don't do a trial and error approach. So now whatever the architecture I gave here, it is not a trial and error approach. So we already know, so like the performance of Snowflake, we already know the performance of Power BI, we already know Fabric, everything. So based on all the pros and cons, we started or we fixed with this architecture. Okay, keep that point in the brain. So now whatever the architecture they designed it, you simply followed it. But even while we are designing also, so we see all the pros and cons. What is the scalability of the data? Is this architecture scalable? So is the data, how much data we are able to get even in the future, which architecture to go with, time consumption of it, latency of it. So all this things we verify it, and then we plan for one architecture. Okay, keep that points in the brain. That would be helpful. Now see this, once we got this data frame, then what exactly this command is? As I said, we are creating a table. So we created the table, and then what this command is doing? What this command is doing?
Executing that, whatever the creating.
So in simple, it is trying to perform. So now write pandas. So now what exactly this write pandas going to do is this command is something from your, if I go back to this, write pandas is from which particular library? Snowflake.connector. So within Snowflake, they gave a command called write pandas. So if there is a data which is in pandas format or data frame format, if you want to write it inside Snowflake, you can use a command write pandas. Now, in order to write pandas for this command, you need to have a connection. So now this is my connection object. So now based on this connection object, I'm able to log in to my pandas, sorry, into my Snowflake, and I am able to get into only to that database, only to that schema, and whatever the df I have it, I'm able to load the df into a test table, for example 2. Now here I created test table 2, I want to load it into test table 2. If I run it, so it is able to say success true, the number of chunks. So what is chunks? Most of the time, if your data is very huge, so in order to load the data inside your Snowflake, instead of loading entire data at a time, it's going to divide the data into multiple chunks so that it's going to have a better processing power. It's going to do that operations quick. For that reason, we are able to take the data with automatically your Snowflake going to divide the data into multiple chunks so that it is able to achieve the performance. Now, if I go back to my Snowflake and if I run this command, now do we have the data here? Whatever the data we have it in pandas, in Python, is it recorded now here?
Yes, sir.
Right? It's
Yes, sir.
recorded. So now you are not doing any data conversions, you are doing nothing. So now in case if you are good with Python, you know data cleaning. Once you done data cleaning, you will be having pandas data type. Whatever the data type, data frame you have it, you can write it. But in order to write, what is only one criteria? So what is the criteria to write it without throwing any error? What is the criteria to run without throwing any error? So now this two command should not throw any error. This command should not throw any error. What is the criteria? No, Tulasi, that's not the one. So what is the criteria to run the code? Means like without any error, if I want to make this successful, what exactly we need to check?
Data types like the connection means the whatever the Snowflake
Very
account
simple.
is.
Now, what exactly it need to match is now whatever the column names you have in the data frame, so or in your data whatever the data you loaded, the characters or we can say the cases of the column matters, the spaces matters, if there are numbers the numbers matters, everything, the data types matters. So now if any of this mismatch happens, it may not run, this command going to throw us with an error. So now whatever may be your data, you can clean it, you can perform it, finally you have a data frame. So any data you pick it, it's going to be in a data frame format. But what is the condition to load this command successfully is, now whatever the columns you have here, the same names, the same structure need to be there. So this column is having some spaces, whatever the data you have it, there are no spaces. So it's going to throw us with an error. So what need to match? Your table name. So you no need to worry about table name. Any table name going to be there. So now your df and this, there is no worry. The column names and the data types of that means like your pandas data type and the data types of your Snowflake need to match. Column names need to match. Exactly. Only then this below command going to run without any error. Is it clear?
Yes, sir. Sir, what is this underscore representing?
Connectivity. So now whatever the command we are doing for the connection, we can say continuation. For the continuation, we use underscores every time. Yeah. Now see, we got the data here. Now we are able to pull it. Means in simple, now inside this pipeline, you are able to connect Python with Snowflake and you can clean the data, you can dump it into warehouse. So that operation, we can do it with Python. And Python and the Snowflake we can do. Once the data is available inside Snowflake, then what we do? Bhavana, in case if you want real-time classes, so now April and May you don't know like this one, right? Power BI and all that. So it is completely optional. So this class is mostly designed for March batch people. In case if you want, you can listen to it. Means you don't know Python, you don't even know Power BI, right? You know only SQL. Okay. Now what I want to do is I have my data, which is in my superstore. I have some tables. Now I want to connect my Snowflake with Power BI. So in order to connect my Snowflake with Power BI, what I will be doing? Again, I'm just closing this and I will be creating one more stuff. This is Fabric. So let me close even this. So if there are any April and May batch people, this is mostly designed for March batch. So April and May batch people, you don't know Power BI, you don't even know Python. So this may not be a right class. So, but simply if you want to know the end-to-end pipeline, you can just sit and listen. For you also, it's going to happen again once all the topics are completed, SQL, Python, Power BI. Once all these topics are completed, again, I will be redoing these topics. Clear? So if you want, you can just sit and listen. Now this is my Power BI. And once I got my Power BI window, I can just click on, I want to create a blank report and I want to import the data. In order to import the data, we all know we can click on get data. I can click on more and I want to go with Snowflake. I can just type Snowflake. So sorry, I need to type more and Snowflake. No, Bhavana, there is no class happening. So normally at 9:30 you have a Python class, list tuple set class, you have it at 9:30 p.m. It's a doubt class plus list tuple set. So I need to go to my Snowflake. I need to go here. I need to copy the path, click on it, go back to my place, paste it, and you can just remove HTTPS. We shouldn't give HTTPS. And we want to give our warehouse compute underscore WH and click OK. So once if the connection is good, it's going to give us the tables or databases which are available inside Snowflake. So is it able to give the databases from the Snowflake?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
It is able to give us the tables from the Snowflake. Now we have BPEC store. And within BPEC store, we have Superstore data, we have marketing data, test tables and all that. So here my goal is I want to use some marketing data. Any data you can pick it. So now I'm just selecting marketing data and I'm just clicking load. Now, this is also an interview question you will be getting. So when you are saying I connected my data from Snowflake to Power BI, then for sure you will be having these two connections. Whenever you are importing a data through Excel, you may not have these two connections. So, but when you are doing it through Snowflake, you will be having these two connections. One is import connection, another one is a direct query. Do you remember? So March batch people, I explained it in your Power BI classes. Do you remember it? What is import connection and a direct query? Do you remember?
Yes, sir.
Right. So what is the difference between import and direct query? What is the difference between import and direct query? It's been a long time, so you forgot it.
So I mean, if you want to import the whole data in Power BI, then I don't know. Sorry.
Yeah, please, you can. So what is difference between import and direct query?
So import is like an extract of the data and direct query is like a live connection.
Right, you can say that, right. So now import is more like whatever the data you are having, you are trying to get a compressed version of the data from your Snowflake, so into your Power BI so that you can store it. And when you are going with a direct query, what exactly meant by direct query is all the data which is there in your, not saying all the data, now whether it is import or direct query, all the data which is there inside that marketing data, you are importing it. So now in an import, you are pulling the data from Snowflake and you are storing it as a compressed version inside your Power BI. In a direct query, if the data is too huge, let's imagine, now import may not be a right approach. The reason is whatever the data you have in Snowflake, if it need to be there on your system, it's going to screw your performance of your laptop. That's the reason what we do, we go with a direct query. When you're going with a direct query, so now the everything, whatever the operations we are doing, now I want to write a DAX. So within Power BI, we do DAX calculations. So all the DAX calculations may not be performed. The reason why, if you are writing any DAX, which you write it obviously in your Power BI, so now the DAX need to be converted into an SQL command and it need to be executed in a Snowflake. And that result need to be means like presented here inside Power BI. That's the reason when you're going with a direct query, most of the commands doesn't run. So most of the DAX commands may not run in your direct query. So only commands which are compatible with your SQL, only those commands going to be executed. So the DAX of Power BI plus Snowflake or SQL compatible DAX commands only going to be executed in a direct query. And whereas in an import query, so now all the commands same like your regular Excel or so, it going to be executed. So now if you want to have an exact means like a huge amount of data, I'm unable to just go with an import. I cannot just have it in my system and I cannot do. It's better to go with what? Import. And if you want to have that live connection, it's a huge amount of data. If you want to have a live connection, you can go with a direct query. So these are the two different connection options we have it. Clear? What is your import query and a direct query? Is it clear?
Sir, so what do we use if we have DAX written in the like if we use DAX in the Power BI? So if we use direct query and they are not compatible, then what will we use?
It doesn't happen like that, right, Vaishnavi? So it's not in that way. So now first you are importing the data. For example, now you are deciding, that's what I mean architecture. So it's not like our course or it's not like our learning. So when you say in an architecture, we have everything already defined. So now based on the availability of the data, we already having a brainstorming. So whether to go with an import connection or a direct query, everything we will be planning in an architecture. So we will be deciding, we will be going with a direct query. Then if you are going with direct query, why you are going with direct query? That level of data. So what type of DAX we need to write? Are they compatible? Are they not? All the consideration we will be going for it, and based on that, we try to perform the operation. Okay. That's the reason there is nothing like a trial and error in a real-time pipelines. So mostly like we decide the architectures and we go ahead with that. Got it?
Yes.
Yeah. So now here, as of now, I'm just going with an import query. Just click OK. So you got your data here, some dummy data which you are able to see, and I'm just developing some visualizations. I'm just taking some age, and for example, this is a marketing data. So based on age, which means like impressions are more like, so our advertisement campaign, which age group people are viewing more. So it is not viewing. So in which age group people, their profiles, it is visible more. So like 30 to 34, we can see a lot of impressions, and then 45 to 49 and less with 35 to something. Here, I'm not focusing on all this reports and dashboards. And let's go with some other plot, maybe. And here I want to take add ID, I think it would be very huge. So it doesn't make sense. And or I can just go with this plot. Clicks and spent based on some graph. So like what is this? As clicks are increasing, so this is like for each click, so how much spend for each campaign. So like we are understanding click and the spend. So like number of clicks, we got this for each Facebook campaign ID. We are understanding that means like this is called relationship. So we can say as clicks are increasing, the spend is increasing. If you want to just draw some size, you can take some. This is I don't want the size to be here. Let us take even gender. This is gender wise. I got some graph and that's it. A very small, simple stuff. And I can say marketing campaign dashboard. So I'm just placing it here. Once, if you feel if this is relevant or right, then you can click on publish. So once you're asking for publish, we need to save it. Then I'm just saving it as maybe like March underscore pipeline underscore test. So some dashboard name, save. So I saved it. Once it's saved, it is asking me that you want to publish. So these are various workspaces which are available inside Fabric. Now this is your Fabric or this, let me open Fabric. I can say app.powerbi.com. So now this is, we can simply say app.powerbi.com. End of the day, it is same Microsoft Fabric, or we can say Power BI Online. Now here you can see, click on create. I can create means like I can start building a report here. So based on Power BI Online, or I can go back and I can do it in a desktop app. Now I can just go back to my home screen and I can create new report. I can start building Power BI here within Power BI Online. Again, go back to this create or home screen. Now here, these are all various workspaces. Here, if you see this on your left hand side, you can see various workspaces. These are all workspaces. I have data analytic workspace, data engineering pipeline workspace, Kotak workspace, LearnML workspace, real-time streaming workspace. Now, if I want, I can create my own workspace. So the very simple, the purpose of workspace is more like for each project, everything related to that project, you are separating it from one workspace to the another workspace. So now here I'm storing everything inside real-time streaming workspace. So where I have my some streaming pipelines, I have it, and I'm having some marketing campaign pipeline, something like that. Within this real-time streaming, I want to place this pipeline. So I'm going into my Power BI. This is the area. And I want to just place it inside real-time streaming workspace. Click select. So it's going to be published inside my Power BI. Once it published, we are able to see that in our Fabric. So it published. Now I can just go back to my Fabric, or so what is Fabric and all that I'll be explaining. If I just click on refresh, you're able to see here, I got March pipeline test. You have two things. One, you got a report. Another one, you got your March pipeline test. So now here, this is, I'm the user. So I'm having this license type, some trial status and all that I have it. Now what I can do. So now if there are other users, for example, this is my marketing test pipeline. I can click on it in case if most of the time when we are going with Power BI, so most of our users going to be Microsoft account holders. So they will be having Microsoft business account. So I can simply click on share. So now I can send it in the email, I can copy the link, I can send it to the people in your organization with the link, so that, or I can just click it and I can change it, people with existing access. So people in your organization or specific people. So I can share it with the people who are within my organization, or with, means like people with whom I want to share it, like with my client or so, I can do that. And we can chat here inside Teams. And apart from it, if I want to go back and if I want to edit this, I can click on edit button. As I click on edit, you are able to see the same Power BI desktop here.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right, we are able to see same our Power BI desktop here. And apart from it, like what we can do now, the goal is not about a dashboard, the goal is very rare cases. So why you have an edit access, now the client said, hey, I don't want this, I want something else, so the randomly to edit it right here instead of going back to Power BI desktop, so like creating something again publishing it directly, you can edit it here. But the reason someone going to come to the Power BI online, do you know why someone go back and come to Power BI online or Fabric? Can anyone guess why we need to go for it? As I said, one point is for sharing purpose. I can share it with my clients or I can share it with my stakeholders. Is it right? Is that the purpose? Is it to share with the clients and all that? Is that the primary purpose? Right, the major purpose of creating this kind of dashboards is one, in order to share it with our clients or to share it with our stakeholders. And apart from it, the major purpose is now whatever the report we have, now it's a marketing campaign dashboard. Do this data going to be updated on daily basis? Or do the data going to be updated weekly basis or monthly basis? Do the data going to be updated? Yes.
Yes, Kankar.
Yes.
Right, it going to be updated whenever your data is getting updated. So now what happens, so you need to again you need to go back to Power BI, you need to refresh the data and you want to share it with your clients. So now why you need to do that lengthy process? So it's a pretty lengthy process. So now instead of that, what you can do, if you click on this real-time streaming workspace, you have two different files, March pipeline test, this is your report, and this is called as your semantic model, or we can say in a simple data model. And here you are able to see schedule refresh icon. You can just click on schedule refresh icon and you need to schedule a refresh here. So you can schedule a refresh sometimes. So this going to throw you with error. So why it going to throw you with error is mostly when your Snowflake source credentials are in, means like if they are not matching. So the credentials need to match. So you need to provide your username, password, so that we are able to sign in to your Snowflake account. Already it is signed in. So whenever you schedule a refresh, it's going to happen. For example, in case no, I can give my username and password and and oh, and sign in. So now data source updated, so we are able to sign in. Once you signed in, if your data source is not signed in, so in order to build this connections, why you are taking one more authentication is directly your Power BI online going to log into your sign Snowflake, it going to collect the updated data, it going to pull it into your Power BI, it going to update the entire reports with the updated data. In order to do that, we need to provide the login credentials to your warehouse. So once you are there, you need to provide your refresh. So now define a daily refresh schedule. I need to say on and refresh frequency. So you want to do it weekly or you want to do it daily. I want to do it daily. And again, you are going with this is your time zone. Maybe like if our clients are at from different locations, based on their client locations, you are able to select the timing. So if you are from India, I'm setting Indian time zone like Chennai, Kolkata time slot, and you are adding another time. So this is at what time it need to refresh. For example, I'm saying every day at 10 p.m. it need to refresh. So why? So our business is happening from morning to evening. So we want to refresh the data every day at 10 p.m. So we are trying to perform this 1 second. So now here, let's say my business is running from morning to evening. And again, if you remember, like I said, even con job creation or task creation in one of the SQL class. Now, in case whatever, now we connected this table. So now this, we have a marketing data table. If this marketing data table, which we have it, if we are creating this table, from a task or from a scheduled event, so this refresh need to be dependence with respect to that refresh. So now if your con job or if your task is happening every day at 9 p.m, so after 9 p.m you want to do a refresh. Why? So the updated data may not come into this table, so without that con job or with that task. So once the task is completed, next you're creating this refresh. So now this, whatever we are doing inside Power BI, this is not a con job or task. This is just a refresh. So what this refresh going to do every day at 10 p.m, it going to go back to Snowflake, it going to pull the updated data and it going to refresh it. Based on that, automatically all your tables or visualizations going to be updated. So you can just inform to your client or a stakeholder, hey man, go back and check every day at this time. Okay, that going to be sufficient. So means like, why this guy going to go back and check the data every day at 9 p.m or 10 p.m? How even this timing 10 p.m? Again, there are two answers. One, that why 10 p.m, why not 9 p.m, is if your other tables are having a dependency with the current table, whichever we used it for reporting, so then we are going based on that timing. Or if the clients are viewing the data at 10 p.m, or if the clients are viewing the data at 9 p.m or 8 p.m, at what time they are viewing, before that half an hour early we try to schedule a refresh icon, so that the client going to view the tables every day at 8. Means like we have a meeting every day at 8 where I want to just explain them about our daily sales. A sales guy need to do that, so he want that updated reports to happen. For that reason I schedule a refresh at 7:30 p.m. Got it? So once everything is automated, once everything is done, now what exactly the clients want? They just want to have an idea about understanding the visualizations and all that. That's a simple thing, like either an architect or a developer going to provide it. Once you provided this refresh, you just click on apply. The refresh is provided. Now, even for your sake, I just created a small refresh for other table. And if you look at marketing campaign, this is the one. If I click on it, so click on refresh. And if I just see, you're able to see the refresh here. Last refresh succeed. At what time the refresh happened? Last refresh? 16,
evening,
7, 7:30. And when is the next refresh scheduled?
7:30.
Again 7:30 tomorrow. Again, if I look at refresh, so now the timing is 7:30 p.m. So it's scheduled. Got it? So now in this way, automatically as refresh schedules. Now, if I log in, so now what I do, if I just log in to my for example, this is my user ID. So now I can log in with my another business user ID or so within my phone, or I can download Power BI app in my phone, or I can download in my iPad. I can log in. I can just view the reports from my iPad or from my phone. So now in order to do this, hardly how much time it has taken us? 1 hour of time, just to show you. Now to create a pipeline, it takes more or less some time. Why I want to go back writing a code connection it. But the same thing, if I want to do it at a company level, do you know how many days this entire thing going to take?
I think it's 1 to 2 months.
So how many days it going to take to do all this?
2 to 3 months.
Yeah, we can say 2 to 3 months. The reason why it going to take 2 to 3 months is before even we are starting, we prepare a plan like this, analytical execution plan. So let me. So we will be having a plan like this. So like what we are doing at each level. So we can say phase one, or you can say it as a sprint. So now what we are doing at each level. So before this is planning. So what exactly when this planning going to come is, so once the client is onboarded, once everything is finalized, once he is happy with our architectural diagrams, he is happy with how many days we do it. And this is practical. It's a plan of action document. It is not even, so before even designing this plan of action document, they're going to be initial 1 or 1.5 month of time only on sitting in the meetings and all that, gathering the requirements, creating that Figma diagrams, so verifying them. So again, if we have anything which is unknown, for example, now so the client said we have a petabytes of data, so even I'm unsure about architecture, we go back, we research which architecture is best. So once we finalized with that, we come back, we design the architecture, we freeze it. Once everything is good, then we make sure we have the resources or not. In case if we don't have the resources, parallelly we hire them. So for example, to do this work, I want a guy with Snowflake knowledge, I want a guy with Power BI knowledge, I want a person with Python knowledge. So I see if I can find a person with this knowledge, or I see temporarily can I have any intern who know good with Python, I can train him internally, so I can just give him a task, I can see him. So in this way they try to see, before they get a resource, they see are we able to do it with internal team. So temporarily, not for a permanent fix, temporarily. And once we are able to get a resource, again interview process and all this takes 1 month to 1.5 month to get a resource. So there is interview process, notice periods and all that. So once we got that candidate, then again we want to provide training. So in case, mostly for this kind of projects, we don't wait that long. So we will be having our resources, we'll be just pushing the project to our resources, and we will be start doing it. So hardly, once we got a project, to get a project to finalize it, it takes 1 month. And once we got a plan of action based on the seriousness of the project, it may take 2 weeks, it may take 2 months, it may take 3 months. It depends upon how quick we can do it and how quick they want it. Or if they are cool enough, we can do it in 3 months or 4 months of time. So only 1 month or only 1 or 2 weeks you work on create. So first I ask my team to build a small dummy pipeline, whether they are doing it or not. Once they're doing the dummy pipelines like I done right now, then we go with a bigger data. I ask you to work on a bigger data to create a pipeline. So not all the levels at a time, so we go it level by level. So first we are going at what is that dashboard need to be good. So now before you are going with all the pipelines, we make sure we are cleaning the data in Python, and then we are trying to store the structured data in SQL, then Snowflake, and then we create some report and we see how exactly we need to finalize the dashboard. Once dashboard is finalized, once your Python cleaning is finalized, everything is finalized, once we got the approvals, now you build a connection with all this stuff and you schedule them and you see whether the scheduling is happening rightly or not. So you give an access to your phone, you see is it getting updated, you see all that. Once everything is doing well, you give a thumbs up to the client, and we hand it over to the client and we constantly monitor it. We'll be having calls like, do you have any issues, do you have any complaints, is everything going well? In case no, you can have this guy as a support person. Any issue you have, you can just reach out to him. He is the one, like a one-stop fix. So in this way we will be finally, once everything is done, so we have again business analyst who document the entire project. Got it? So this is the overall project closer in simple.
Sorry, what is this? What is this for? Please remind.
Sorry, what is, I'm not getting it. What exactly you said?
Sorry, I'm a bit off. You were explaining there's something you were explaining here. What is it for?
You mean this document?
Yes, thank you.
This document is a plan of action document for your client so that we are able to look into it. Mostly we don't use this document. We use another document, call it as mostly we use an agile framework based document where it contains sprints, backlogs, feature list. So it contains so use cases. So who is using it, what they are using, why they are using, this kind of questions we will be having it. We create use cases, all this we design it. So but this is simply a plan of action document. We can say this as a sprint kind of breakdown.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, so I'm back. So Bishal, as of now, for in case if all the data is in cloud, you don't need to have a gateway. Now, in case if your data is somewhere in the servers, you can build a gateway. So there, here itself, gateway connections you have, right? On-premise gateway connections you have it. There we can build the gateways. Okay. So now based on your Scrum, we have like 4 stages. So like whenever you're going, you will be having sprint planning, you will be having assigning roles and responsibilities, like you will be having a Scrum Master, product owner, development team. So we people falls under development team. So like product owner is the one who is responsible of the entire product life cycle. Scrum Master is the one who plan the sprints and all that. And then we have estimation effort. So like for each particular one, so I want to build a connection between Python to Snowflake. So task estimation. So how many days it going to take? So now I want to clean the data. So how many days it takes? I want to pull the data from server to this. So now for every task, you have various subtasks. For each subtask, how many days it going to take? So we need to provide the documentation. These things going to be done by Scrum Master, and you will be providing the numbers. So like based on that approval, they will be going for it. Capacity planning. So based on the task, so how many people need to be there? So how many data analysts need to be there? How many data scientists to be there? How many reporting people need to be there? So based on the project capacity or the duration, we try to have the right number of people to that particular work. So now again for each particular sprint, so now various sprint backlog. So what is a backlog is what type of task you are trying to submit it. I'm not sharing any screen. I'm just explaining. So for each particular backlog, so backlog is, so for example, I want to clean the data. I want to connect Python with this. So for each particular activity, so now we call it as for a sprint 2 weeks. Within 2 weeks, what you're planning to do? I want to do Python, collecting the data, cleaning. So the three things are our backlogs. So now for that backlog, so within each backlog, subtask breakdown we will be doing it, and the timeline for each task we will be preparing it. This is all done by a Scrum Master. So normally in a small companies, so 1 or 2 people, only one guy going to be a product owner, the same guy going to be a Scrum Master. So everything going to be done by him. So he is responsible to check that every day. We call it as what, stand up meetings. So every day we will be just spending like 10-15 minutes, and we will be, or we call Scrum meetings. We just discuss about what we done and what is our progress. So we will be having this kind of meetings. Apart from it, we will be having a meetings with the clients. So in simple way, what is your day-to-day work look like? So do you work on one project or you work on multiple projects as a data analyst? You work on one or you work on multiple projects? You work on multiple projects. So now you may do one day, you may work on Python cleaning, one day, mostly like, so what we are saying is, for example, if Aquila is my resource, so for our client, we say Aquila is working 100% on, let's say, XYZ hospitals. So now we will be saying Aquila is working on that client 100%, but we will be using Aquila for another projects as well. So why? So we will be having for sure a lot of time. So now that's what the profit a analytical company or service company going to make it. So we use Aquila resource for multiple projects. So now we will be giving one project on hospital and we give another client. So she may do data cleaning on one day. So for another people, she may work on data warehousing activities. For another client, she may do Power BI reports. For another client, she may do presentations. So now in a day, it may not be one fixed activity. Hey man, I'll be doing Power BI. It's not like that. You will be having a combinational. You may do PowerPoint presentations to demonstrate to the client. So now every project requires only 3 steps. What are they? Do you know that? Every project or a client want to know 3 things. What is the business problem you are solving? And for that business problem, what is your approach? So data collection, data understanding, all this may not be your, you don't need to give that life cycle. That is the steps you follow as a data analyst. But so now what is your approach? So like you collect the data. What is the architecture? And by implementing that architecture, what is the gain we are able to make it? What is the value we are able to get it? What is the benefit we are able to get it? So now, in case if I want to get a project from a hospital, we want to show similar kind of work we done it to any hospital, so that we are able to get a project in our company. So this flow happens in any organization. Okay. I hope you got some idea about how things happens in a corporate side. I hope you got some idea. Can I say that? So mostly the architectural design may not be done by you. So the managers mostly design the architecture. So you are mostly called as resources. So once everything is finalized, they hire you. Got it?
Yes, Kansar. Yes, Kansar.
Perfect. Any doubts you have? Now, shall I give a task? So
Sure.
Shrikant, daily routine of a data analyst, 2 to 3 years of experience. So in simple, a daily routine of a data analyst going to be, you create data pipelines. So something like this, not means pipelines may not be purely from all this complete structure. It can be pulling the data from Python to Snowflake, or Snowflake to any of the data warehouse. It can be your work, or Python to MySQL, or even Python to PostgreSQL. So anywhere like from Python to that, you are doing it. And second, your role going to be on creating materialized views. So materialized views facility, like we have it in Snowflake. So what is a materialized view is, and even we got it in PostgreSQL, I think so. Now I don't know. So like in MySQL, I don't see like there is a materialized view. We create materialized view. Materialized views are now I want to get top 10 sales. I want to provide top 10 products which are happening in the last month. So the top 10 products are common. So now we are running it on a Walmart level data, a very big, huge amount of data. Now, if you are trying to create a view, so the purpose of a view is to secure whatever the logic you have written to close it. But the purpose of materialized view is not just about the query. The purpose of materialized is to store the result and to store the query, so that you no need to, again, whenever you are running that query, you no need to wait for 20-30 minutes to get the result. So you are able to get the result quick. For that reason, we create materialized views. And you create PowerPoint presentations. So you create data cleaning jobs, we call transformation jobs. That's what you are doing with Python. So you create dashboards using Power BI. So we call dashboards using Power BI. So like you go with your means like client calls, you sit in the client calls. So apart from it, you create schema designs. So like if you go back to Snowflake, you need to create tables, we call schemas. So you create schemas there. So like you create mostly, I think this work's going to be sufficient. So you work on insight gathering, or you try to say like you are doing analysis on your data, like you are doing univariate. You need to use the terminology. You do univariate analysis, you do bivariate analysis, you do multivariate analysis, which going to be what? Pattern extraction. You are trying to grab patterns so out of the data. So like this is on an average your day-to-day life cycle look like in simple. Okay, in simple, that's it. And it depends as well. It depends. Some days, if your clients are not that, means like what even we expect is you need to be there for a client meeting for sure. You want, so that's the reason if there is an 8 hours of time, when the project is going so deep, means like you will be working like 8 hours, 9 hours, 10 hours sometimes. And the initial 1 or 2 months, you'll be very cool, you chill, like you'll be having a very relaxing day. So your goal may be like preparing a PPT and joining a meeting. That's it. I think hardly you spend 2 or 3 hours, and rest of the day you feel like you're doing some work. You do research and you see what. So like this is the combination. So like we don't expect that for a project you know everything. For example, now whatever the data we have it, even though you know it, you don't say I know the coding. You say I want to go back and research. There is some complexity in the server. Even though there is no complexity, you create a complexity. You showcase that to our managers. But end of the day, we give a deadline. So based on the deadline, you do it and you submit to us. Got it? So this is how it's like more or less your job look like. So I want to give you a task. So shall I give a task which you want to do it?
Yes.
Yes.
Right. I will be giving you one data now here. So this is completely for March batch. I'm not saying to other batch people. So March batch people, or if there are any interview preparation learners, so they can do it. Now what I will, oh my bad. What I will be doing is I will be providing you with an Excel, and that Excel contains lots and lots of errors. So I'll be providing you an Excel file. You want to take that Excel file, you want to load it into Python. After loading into Python, clean it. After cleaning the data, load the data into Snowflake. You know how to create a Snowflake account, and you know how to create some tables within Snowflake. So Excel, load it into Python, clean it, load the data into Snowflake. After loading the data into Snowflake, so connect your Snowflake with Power BI. And mostly you may not be able to perform fabric operation or online operation, but if possible do it, or in case no, up to Power BI you can do it. After fabric, you know that, so like up to this also you can you do this? Excel data, load it into Python, clean it, load the data into Snowflake, and into Power BI, build a dashboard. So that dashboard should not be dummy, it need to be a business based dashboard. Got it? It need to be completely exhaustive. So like one project which going to cover entire life cycle. Will you be doing that, March batch people? So this is going to be your final project.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Sir, I have a doubt.
Yeah, please.
You said in the website some data we have to collect automatically into SQL or Snowflake.
So
We
sorry,
have
what is that?
In website they enter the data, sir, right? So you said BPEC.
Right, I got
enter
that. I
the
remember
data,
that. I
right?
remember that. Yeah.
We import the data to SQL. I mean, automatically it's imported the data. We have
Yeah.
to import the data to Python is possible.
We can do it. Yeah. We can build connection with Python SQL is also possible.
Yeah, I mean, SQL to Python, but not Python to SQL.
SQL to Python is also possible, right? Yeah, we can do that.
Okay. How? I mean, I don't think you know that
So
Python to SQL connection set it.
You can do one thing. I think in your dashboard, you have your inside Power BI, you will be having Python connections. Once check that.
In
Once
which
this
Power
one. Yeah. So instead of
share not.
I'm sharing my screen. This one you have, right? If you go to products, if you take a project data resume building with real-time projects, not this one, data analytics CT program, real-time project access. So here you are able to see this, right? Data warehousing end-to-end using Snowflake. This is one, and using this one is this one. Okay, this is completely using Python, SQL, and Power BI, MySQL. Okay.
Yes, I will.
And even I said AWS Glue. Do you remember it? We are using AWS Glue. I said, do you remember? You can do this, and if anyone are interested, if you have a simple credit card, it doesn't charge any money. If you want to do end-to-end data analytic using AWS, you have this. You can do all this pipeline. If you are interested, you can do this. This is up to creating some reports within AWS quicksite. So this is we are doing it with quicksite. If you want, you can try this also. It's up to you. But before this, before even trying all this, if anyone want to work on, please work on this project. So this seems more means like something we do it commonly in our current, for one of our client also we are doing the similar pipeline. So that's the reason you can go for it.
Sir, I have a question.
Yeah, please.
Sir, in the last phase, in the data visualization phase, if if I want to use a Tableau instead of Power BI, and then is it possible?
So what do you mean by that? Sorry.
I mean, the rest of the architecture remaining same, like the Snowflake data warehouse and initial cleaning in Python. Um I just want to choose like a data visualization tool other than Power BI, for instance, Tableau. So in this case, is it possible to use
Instead
a
of Power
Tab?
BI, you want to use Tableau. You can do that. That is also possible.
And for in that case, then for deployment,
For
which tool?
deployment, you need to use Tableau Online. So instead of Power BI Online, we use Tableau Online.
Okay, and actually that Microsoft Fabric is something new for me, so I was just
Fabric
trying
is
to.
completely related to Power BI. So Power BI is Power BI Online. So what they have made is, so the whatever Power BI Online they have, so there are group of products within this Microsoft Fabric. So you can do Power BI, you can do machine learning as a data scientist, you can do data engineering. So now this Fabric is for especially for data careers. So a one platform for all data engineers, data scientists, and data analysts, so that I no need to move out of the fabric. Everything is there within that particular. I can create ETL pipelines. I can create machine learning algorithms. I can create reports. Everything I can do it at one place. For that reason, for data product, they made Fabric. It is a Microsoft. If you want more cloud services, we go with Azure portal in this way.
Okay, thank you.
So where can we get this project access?
Which one, Vaishnavi? Project access, you mean?
The real-time one you showed to Akila.
Right. So now which one?
The video,
That is
the
okay. Data
dashboard.
analytics, real-time project access. You can ask Zabin, she will be giving. Support team, if you ask her, she will be giving it. Data analytic, real-time project access.
So these projects we can show it in our resume.
Yeah, especially the AWS one. And now I gave you one project, right, where you want to clean the data and you want to do that. That you can showcase it in your resume.
And what is the timeline of that project?
Means like normally the regular timeline in a real-time structure, it is 3 months. But if you are going it in lines of this one, what is that? In for your classes, you can do it as early as possible so that we are able to start targeting the job roles, right? For that reason.
Hi, Kansar.
Hey, hi, Venkatesh.
Kansar, is there any possibility to join your daily sessions? I need to refresh again
You can do that,
Python.
Venkatesh. You can do that, Venkatesh. You can.
Okay, I will inform to Zebin to
You
add
can
in
inform to Zabin once. She will be giving you the access.
Yeah,
Okay.
sure, sir. Thank you.
So like I will be hosting another project access for data analytic. I'll be showcasing another pipeline. Okay. The next time I'll be showcasing streaming pipeline, where exactly we use Azure, Azure Events Hub, and we try to do that. Okay. So the rest of process remains same. Only one thing is we are creating that streaming pipeline. All right.
And Kansar,
Yeah. Tell me,
last
Shane.
week I called you, right, about
Right.
Infosys interview.
Right. Right.
Yeah, I haven't received any update from Infosys. I drop a mail to Infosys. I don't know when I'm going to get that interview schedule or call. I will let
Okay.
you know, Sarif.
Sure, Venkatesh. You can do that.
Thank you.
Yeah. So now March batch people,
Sorry,
everyone. Yeah.
sorry.
Kim.
When are you sending the data set? Will you email it to us or we should
I will
log
be
in?
doing that, Kim. Yeah, I'll be just dropping that on your March dashboard. So if you are in March, you are able to see that. In case no, I'll be asking, you can collect it from support team as well. So the data set, so you need to collect the data and even the files. So now whatever the Python script I have written, right, to clean it, I'll be providing you that script as well. Okay. You can use that script and even you can use Snowflake, you know it, Power BI, you know it. You can just do the process. Only things which you needed for the project is data set and a Python script which I have written to build the connectors. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
All right. All right then, everyone. Take care. I hope you got some good idea. So please work on the project and do it as early as possible. Okay.
Yes, sir. So Python to Snowflake means connection.
Yeah, I will be giving you that
Code,
file.
code.
Giving you that script,
Right.
Akhila. I'll be uploading it.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Clear, everyone? Once confirm me.
Yes, sir.
Where will it be uploaded? Sorry, I am.
Rucha, I know that. I'll be just, we will be uploading in March batch. They will be giving it, Rucha. So no worries. We will be just giving you the access.
Hey, hi, Kant.
Hey, hi,
Thank
Tulsi.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not part of the March batch.
No worries, Tulsi. I'll be asking the team to give it to you. No worries. I'll be
Okay.
just.
Okay. Thanks, Ka.
Well then, so I will be hosting another project class. So I hope, is it informative, by the way? So in order to continue the project classes, is it informative?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes,
So
sir.
like we will be doing more project classes like this. So now maybe like this week, I'll be doing one more streaming class. Okay. So that would be streaming pipeline. This is what called as batch processing pipe. This is also not like a batch process, more a kind of a streaming pipeline, but we can say it's a kind of batch, but mostly it's a streaming itself. We automated all the steps here. So we are cleaning the data, we dumped it into Python, and then Snowflake, automatically everything is happening. So the streaming is happening. So even if you are getting constantly the data, how constantly you need to get the reports, that is streaming pipeline. We'll be working on that. Okay. So see you then. Take care. Bye and good night.
Okay, sir.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.